What's going on, guys and girls? John Buck 156 here, back with another Injustice 1 / Injustice 2 video. Uh, Once again, I did not get any chance to play the beta, so I didn't have any footage. And also, I can't download Injustice 2 footage to my PlayStation 4 at the moment. So, anyways, that's why the background's gonna be Injustice 1. But I just wanted to go over the full roster of Injustice 2, not including the 9 DLC characters. But I will speculate which 9 I think should be in there. And let's go over the full roster really quick. We have, in no particular order, we have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Supergirl, Atrocitus, Blue Beetle, Brainiac, Gorilla Grodd, Robin, Aquaman, Bane, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Black Canary, Firestorm, Swamp Thing, Dr. Fate, Green Arrow, Black Adam, Captain Cold, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Cheetah, Cyborg, and the last character will be revealed on Friday, which is the Joker. And of course you get Darkseid as a pre-order bonus. I'm sure that they'll come out with a something later for him, like where you'd be able to buy it if you didn't pre-order. Anyways, I'm gonna go through my list of who I think should be in the game for DLC characters. Now, I did take into account two things. One, I noticed that they like to have characters from other franchises. So, like Mortal Kombat X, they had tons of horror characters. I didn't pick a horror character, but in Injustice 1, we got Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. So, I went ahead and picked actually two Mortal Kombat characters who I think would work well. Now, personally, I just, there's no preference. I just think that, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, they're all kind of, I wouldn't say overused, but they're extremely recognizable from the franchise, which that's kind of what you want, but at the same time it might be time to let some of your other really good characters shine. So that's why for my number 9 pick I have Kenshi and Baraka. Now it could be either or. They're probably not going to go with these guys, but I think that they each have a unique play style. I loved playing as them, and it's almost 100% they're going to bring in at least one person from Mortal Kombat. And for the next character on the list, number 8, I also thought about that tweet that Ed Boon had tweeted out, asking if we wanted to see any Watchmen characters, which there was a massive amount of people who were like, yeah. Now, Super, who is a YouTuber who I watch about Injustice 2 news and stuff, he really wants Dr. Manhattan, but he's like super OP. But if you're gonna make a fighting game and you're gonna put Superman into it, he's really overpowered as well, but he also has some weaknesses, and compared to Dr. Manhattan, Superman's just like child's play. Dr. Manhattan is a freaking god, but I did not choose Dr. Manhattan. I chose Rorschach. Now, you could argue that he's not like Batman, or he's a common like him and Owlman, who is also another Watchmen character. The two of them combined would be literally Batman, because Rorschach he's like that dark side of Batman. He was really investigative, goes overboard sometimes, which Batman rarely does, but we all know him as the Dark Knight. I think Rorschach would have an interesting playstyle, kind of play I don't even know how to what kind of moveset he could have. I mean, like, obviously he doesn't have any powers, and I I don't think he uses guns, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I think that he would be a really cool character to bring in. Number 7 is Superboy. Now I know what you're all gonna say. We already have Superman and Supergirl. Why do we need a Superboy? Well, Superboy doesn't have like half the powers that Superman and Supergirl have. Like, he doesn't. But I think it's really interesting because his fighting style is almost completely different. Where Superman and Supergirl can space out their opponents when they need to, and I think Superboy would be more of a grappler. You know, because you know he can't fly, but he does have like the ability to, you know, super jump, I guess. In some iterations, they say that his powers aren't really that of normal Kryptonians. He has tactile telekinesis, which is very interesting, I think. And yeah, so there's that. My next character is one of two characters I would really like an electric character, such as Static Shock or Black Lightning. You know, these are two fan favorite characters that, you know, it reminds me a lot of Cole from Cole from Infamous, and I don't know, I think their powers would be really cool. Next on the list is Miss Martian. Miss Martian is very unique because, like, we had Martian Manhunter in the first game as a DLC character. Well, Miss Martian is actually a white Martian who uses her shape-shifting abilities to kind of disguise herself as a green Martian. Mostly because, you know, white Martians are looked down upon and no one really likes them. You know, that's unfortunate, but yeah, but I think it'll be interesting, like, if she had a super where she transformed into her white Martian form, or even her character ability would be able to transform into her white Martian form and just, like, cause heavy damage on the opponent. That would be amazing. Not to mention, she has a, like, crap ton of other powers, just like her uncle, John Johns, the Martian Manhunter. Next on the list is a magic character, Constantine. Now, Constantine, I never watched his TV series, but I loved his character in Justice League Dark, and I saw his guest star appearance in Arrow. He was really cool. I didn't get to see the series because, well, frankly, I can't find it anywhere. But I think you know, a magic character would be really cool. You know, messing with the dark arts. And next on my list, my top 3, they're very fan requested, and almost everybody wants them in the game, and it's not going to surprise anybody. Number 3 is Beast Boy. Now, Beast Boy is most iconic for me from the early 2000s Teen Titans show, and I think it would be really interesting to see how his special moves could work. Like, if he could transform himself into different animals just for mere few moments and just wreak havoc on his opponent. Like, do you know how, like, amazing that could be? Between having the savage, raw strength of a gorilla, and then having the speed and I won't say stealth, but the speed of a snake. That would be really interesting to see how they incorporate all those different things into one character. Now, I'm not saying like that's definitely going to be his moveset, but you know, it is very iconic. Yeah, and then number 2 is a fiery redhead. I'm sure you all know, and that's Starfire. Starfire is, you know, she is probably the most highly requested female character, DLC character. If not, you know, some people would rather have her over anybody, well, any female on the roster. which, you know, I personally can't wait to try out Poison Ivy and Black Canary, even though a lot of people have already played as her. Catwoman was never really my thing. I think Starfire with her projectiles, she could well, if she could have a lot of her projectiles that, you know, she throws in, you know, the comics and show and everything, that would be amazing. So, like, imagine the power of Tamaranian, and then another cool thing is that we could also have a DLC skin for, you know, Blackfire, her sister. And I think that, I don't know, I think that that moveset would be, I'm not going to say it's going to be, well, of course it's going to be interesting, but it's like probably not going to be as unique, you know, as Brainiac's. You know, Brainiac has almost a completely unique moveset to any other character. You know, it's like no one else has like those moves, and it's really interesting. Like how he uses like the tentacles that he basically the tentacles that he has to fight with. And finally we get to my number one character. Now, I'm not being very original, I know, but I first heard of this character several years ago. I was on Netflix and I was like, man, I really love this show, Supernatural. And I looked up the actor's name for Dean Winchester, you know, Jensen Ackles, and I searched it on Netflix to see what other stuff he was in. I watched the movie My Bloody Valentine, which is weird. Like, I never saw. I heard that there was an original that I never watched, but I liked it. It was okay. But Batman Under the Red Hood popped up, and it was probably the greatest, one of the greatest DC animated movies I'd ever seen up to that point. And I don't know, he's a very interesting character because you know, I started like researching him, and I was like, I didn't even know Robin died. You know, people voted to have him killed off whenever Jason Todd was Robin, and you know, by now that's a well-known fact. But I don't know, I think it would be amazing if they had him in there, which, in all honesty, they would be wasting their money if they didn't. You know, and they brought in a bunch of other like random DLC characters. Like, to be honest, I've heard that Squirrel Girl was leaked. I'm like, no. So yeah, Red Hood, he's like, I don't know, he seems very I don't know what to say. Red Hood, just yes. Master mixed martial artist. Very proficient in firearms. You know, he was trained by Batman. I think, I'm not positive, I think I heard that in some iterations he was also trained by Ra's al Ghul once he got brought back by the Lazarus Pit. But I'm not sure how true that is. So I don't know. Now I want to just quickly ask a couple questions, get your guys' opinion on some stuff. Like, how do you think they're going to bring in not only Green Arrow but also Black Canary? Like, okay, I think that the Injustice video game, the first one, set up everything for the comics, and you know, it's a very interesting premise. You know, why wouldn't you build a comic series that expands on it? But I feel like the Injustice games are like completely canon, and the comics are like less so. I know that Black Canary was killed in the comics, Green Arrow was killed in the comics. Green Arrow was actually said to have died in the first game. Like, he they mentioned it. How he died. He was the first to die, one of the first to die in the fight against Superman. Which, yeah, it's awesome. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, that's awesome. But I'm just wondering how they're gonna incorporate them into the next game, story-wise, and also, I'm sure everybody else does too. I really want to know what happens with the Joker. Like, I heard that Doctor Fate, he brings Green Arrow, a Green Arrow, and a Black Canary from an alternate universe to come fight, and since he's doing that, he might do the Joker, but I don't think that would happen because, you know, why would he bring a villain as, you know, as bad as the Joker? But I think it would also have a lot more meaning. Just, you know, this is something that Super said also. I think it would have a lot more meaning if it was the original Injustice Joker, the one that Superman killed. Don't know how that would happen, and, you know, I don't know why either. Like, personally, I didn't like the Joker's, I didn't like how the Joker played in Injustice 1, or in, I didn't like how he played in the Mortal Kombat vs. DC either. I'm pretty sure he was in that game. Not 100% positive, but I'm like 75% sure. I haven't liked playing as him, really, in any of the games I've played as him. So, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and think about that stuff. Hopefully, you guys will come up with your own opinions and tell me down in the comments. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.